Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karissa Love. It is so nice to meet you. I know I typically only post on a Sunday schedule and I usually only do one video a week, but today is a somewhat special day. Actually, it's a national holiday. Let me take that back. I'm kidding. Today is my birthday. At the time of you watching this, not at the time of me filming this. It is my 25th birthday, and I thought it would be cool to do a little bonus video for you guys this week as a birthday celebration, for lack of a better word. And I was just writing some things down that I've learned over the past 25 years in the scope of my life. Thought it might be helpful for me to share some of it with you guys. Not all of these are groundbreaking takes, and you might have heard some of them before, but I'm just gonna share some lessons, some epiphanies I've had over the past 25 years. And if you're younger or you're a teenager, I don't know. My hope is that maybe you can perhaps take something away from this video. So let's jump right into it. I have many notes. 25 things I have learned in 25 years. Number 1, anxiety sprints, intuition glides. Intuition feels like a string tied to the middle of your chest, gently pulling you forward. It feels good. It feels right. Anxiety is all up here in your head, and it's through the tension in your muscles throughout your body. It is overthinking. It is doubting yourself. I feel like for a long time I mixed up the two. My anxiety telling me one thing, but my intuition telling me something else, and I could never decide what was the right path to take. And the best way I can describe it is that intuition feels right. It feels good. It feels easy. It feels like a sense of flow, and anxiety feels frantic. Anxiety feels like sprinting without a water break. If that is at all helpful to you, perhaps you've struggled with the same things. I feel like the difference between intuition and anxiety is one of the most recent lessons I've learned. Use discernment between what is the correct path and what is a path that I would just take out of fear. And those things definitely take time. Number 2, not everyone is going to like you, and that is okay. This is an age-old saying, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but you could be the prettiest, kindest, most talented, funniest person, and people will still find a reason not to like you. I think the key is to not take things so personally. Remember that if someone outwardly hates you for no apparent reason, that is a flaw within them. That is not a flaw within you. Environment affects everything. Make sure you have safe roots. We are like plants, right? And a plant cannot grow without solid roots, without a fertile soil. The place that you're born in is not always the place you're supposed to be for the rest of your life. I also believe that in order to become your best self, if that means you need to move to a new place or create a safe, sacred space for yourself within your home, I feel like that is one of the key factors of being the highest version of yourself, is making sure you have safe roots, a safe place to fall back on. Number 4, social media is a highlight reel. Now, do you think I filmed my anxiety attack this morning when I woke up? No, I did not. There are so many aspects of my life, of anyone you see on social media's life, that is kept private and kept hidden. Either you are ashamed of it or it's something you'd rather not share, which is understandable. But I think a lot of young people can get caught up in the comparison game of their life looks this way and why doesn't my life look like that. And I think, I've seen a lot of comments like that under my videos as well. And I just want to remind you guys that although I love my life, I have such an abundant life emotionally, and I'm so happy with my life. I absolutely struggle with mental health. I struggle with getting out of bed some days. I'm not gonna always put that on social media. Now that I'm on the other end of it, because I myself consume content from various creators, but now that I'm the creator and I realize how much I edit my life and how much I don't share, that is absolutely the same case for every single person you see online. Next time you're feeling bad about yourself because of some celebrity or social media creator's life and how they portray themselves, just remember that it is only the highlight reel of their life. Number 5, a very, very important one on my birthday, something I need to remember on this day. Aging is a privilege. With aging, I think as women, we can get really caught up in the way that we look. Each passing birthday is closer and closer to losing our precious youth, because youth and beauty is currency for women in this patriarchal society, and I've discussed that a few times on this channel. The older that I get, not that 25 is old, but the older that I get, I try to remind myself how lucky I am to be able to have made it this far, how lucky I am to even be on this earth. Number 6, becoming prettier does not make you more confident. I would say, because I'm not going to talk shit on my child self, but I have not always been the prettiest. I would say my beauty came a little later in life, and the people around me definitely started treating me differently the older that I got, and I kind of grew into myself. Also, I have gotten lip fillers, which is also somewhat of a factor. But even after the fillers and growing into my body and all of that, none of that granted me confidence. It wasn't like I woke up and my magical wish of being confident was granted because I suddenly got lip fillers. For the longest time, especially in my teen years, I was like, when I become an adult and when I get older, I'm gonna get this and this and this done, and I'm gonna get a nose job. And now that I'm 25, I look at myself and I've really come to appreciate the body that I have, and now I don't want any work done. Like, I don't want a nose job anymore. So I would also say, if you're looking to get plastic surgery, perhaps wait a little bit. Don't get it at 18, just wait. I would say, I could confidently say, for lack of a better word, that my confidence in my physical appearance came with time. It came with aging. It becomes tiresome to pick yourself apart every single day. Number 7, do not define yourself by your achievements. You're bigger than your achievements. I know we live in a capitalist society, and perhaps some of you have parents that put a lot of pressure on you to work really, really hard and to achieve, and how many accomplishments can you get under your belt, right? Achieving things, again, does not grant you confidence, and it doesn't grant you self-love, and this is something I'm still working on. So I say I've learned this in the past 25 years, but I'm still learning it every single day when I wake up. Number 8, the only thing you can control is your actions and your perspective. Trying to control others is the biggest waste of time known to man. Life happens. Sometimes accidents happen, mistakes happen, people hurt you, things fail, right? That's a part of life. Everybody goes through it. The only thing you can control is not what life does to you. You can only control how you view it. As an example, let's say I'm driving to a meeting and I'm late for that meeting, and I keep catching every single red light, and I'm getting so frustrated, and I'm like, the world is against me, I suck, I'm a terrible person, life sucks, blah, blah, blah. But then as I get to my destination, along the way, I run into 2 cars that got into a collision. Then I think to myself, that could have been me if I left the house 5 minutes earlier, right? You can't control what happens in your life, and you definitely cannot control people in the relationships that you're in. All you can control is how you react to the circumstances of life and how you view it. And this kind of ties into number 9. Absolutely everything is happening for you, and if you give it time, you'll see it too. There has been many instances in my life where something will happen, someone will hurt me 2-3 years down the line after I've given myself time to heal. I've realized that I am so glad that those seemingly bad things happened to me, because they made me who I am today. And every single step in your journey is leading you to where you are exactly right now. And I think to myself all the time, if, for example, I am in a healthy, happy relationship, I've been in this relationship now for over 3 years, we moved across the country together, and then I think back to like an ex-boyfriend that broke my heart when I was a teenager, and how in that moment, all I wanted was that guy back. I just wanted my relationship with that guy back. But if I got that guy back, would I be in the relationship I am in today? Probably not. Maybe not. I mean, we'll never know. The older you get and the more experiences in life you get under your belt, the more you realize how everything is connected, and your life is quite literally its own story, and each chapter of that story plays an integral role to your soul's journey. Your relationship with yourself is the one that needs the most nurture. I wholeheartedly believe this. I don't believe that anyone can hurt me the way that I can hurt myself. My God, I am my own harshest critic, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. It takes so much strength and it takes time to love yourself on the day-to-day despite any external circumstances. I mean, maybe it's different for you, but I find it so much simpler and so much easier to love my loved ones than myself. And for that reason, I believe, that my relationship with myself takes way more energy. Number 11, being fearless is not having no fear, but being courageous in spite of it. We all have fear. Anybody who says they're fearless is lying to you. It is so normal for us to have fear because us as humans, fear is very important. Fear protects us in a lot of ways, right? But there's certain moments where fear does not serve us at all. It is an absolute choice to be fearless. It is not something that you are born with. It is a practice. There's gonna be so many moments where you're terrified, and you're gonna have to learn to just ignore that. Communication breeds trust. Lack of communication breeds resentment. You are not keeping the peace when you are silent. You are just prolonging chaos. I am a recovering people pleaser, which means that if I am faced with some kind of situation, a situation in which I would need to speak up for myself, I have spent so many years silencing myself, not standing up for myself for the sake of keeping the peace, when all it really ended up doing was making it 10 times worse. If you are being treated unfairly, it is so important that you respectfully stand up for yourself, because if you let it slide and it keeps happening and it keeps happening and it keeps happening, you are going to build resentment, which will then 10 out of 10 times result in an explosive, chaotic end to something. If you're in a relationship with somebody, whether that be romantic, friendship, family, whatever, it is your job to protect you in those relationships, to state your boundaries, because nobody's going to do it for you. And don't assume that people know your boundaries if you have not spoken it to them. I'm guilty of that as well, where I will assume that people know how to treat me and know what I prefer, but most people don't, because everybody's different. Number 13, 2 chances is enough. I am a firm believer in second chances, because there's been so many moments in my life where I have needed a second chance. I'm not perfect. I've needed to be forgiven. I think forgiveness and second chances are so important. What tends to happen with people is they tend to be too forgiving, and I've done that myself as well. You've given someone 2 chances and they fuck it up both times. They're simply not meant to be in your life. And I don't mean about little things. I mean like the important things. So just remember that if you've given someone a second chance already, you've done your part. Now it is up to that person to nurture you and the chance that you've given them. Number 14, my creativity is my guide. Oh my gosh. This one I could talk about for hours. I did not become a happy, healed person until I let myself be the creative person that I am. It is so important to allow yourself to create, because so many of us hold ourselves back from creating for the sake of fitting in or whatever other bullshit you can think of. I worked an office job for 6 years, which there's nothing wrong with that. You can still be very creative and work an office job, so that's not what I'm saying. But I stifled my true creative spirit for so long for the sake of everybody around me, for the sake of making other people feel comfortable. The day that I stopped doing that, so many doors just flew open for me, and not just like monetary opportunity, but also just emotional floodgates that have been trapped for so long. And I made a vow to myself to never ever again stifle my creative spirit. She has a right to be here, and I have a right to let her out for the world to see. Number 15, sensitivity is a superpower, but with great power comes great responsibility, to quote Spider-Man. It's a great quote. Being sensitive means that I feel everything so deeply. I feel happiness and joy so deeply, but I also feel anger and sadness so much more deeply than I think the average person. But because of my sensitivity, I'm very creative. I'm able to empathize with others. Being sensitive is not a problem. It is absolutely a beautiful gift. I just think that your actions surrounding that sensitivity is your responsibility to manage. Number 16, nature nurtures. It is a mother to all. If you need to be held, go outdoors. There have been times in my life where I've been completely alone and I haven't had anybody to confide in, and I literally just go outside and I go on a walk. When was the last time you went on a walk? Stop this video and go on, actually finish the video, but then go on a walk. You would be surprised, because at the end of the day, we are animals and we need vitamin D. Like, we need the elements in order to fill up our emotional cup. There's been so many times, and I'm sure so many strangers in various parks have judged me, and I don't really care, but I will literally go outdoors and I will hug a tree, and I'm sure you've heard this before, quite literally a tree hugger. I will go hug a tree and tell the tree my problems, or I will lay in the grass, or I'll go for a dip in the ocean, and I will just allow Mother Nature to hold me. At the end of the day, she's a mother, and if you need to be held by a mother, I recommend going outdoors. We are not designed to carry the load of guilt, regret, or shame. I don't know if this is something I made up, or I might have heard this somewhere. Guilt, regret, and shame are emotions that are used to process different events. They are not meant to be everlasting. So an everlasting emotion would be happiness, right? That is an emotion you want to be in, that we are meant to be in at all times if we can help it. But guilt and regret and shame are the type of emotions that are supposed to stay for a season to process a certain event, and then they're supposed to leave. And if you stay stuck in guilt, regret, or shame, it will quite literally tear you apart from the inside out, because we are not meant, as emotional beings, we are not meant to carry those heavy emotions for extended periods of time. It's okay to feel guilty and regret and shame. You're only human. Just don't stay there. Growth can only happen if you step out of your comfort zone, whether you step willingly or are pushed forward with force. There are certain times where you will be pushed out of your comfort zone by the universe for the sake of you becoming a better person, for you to be closer to your higher self. For any of you that do tarot, I like to call them tower moments, where something will fall apart or something will just completely shatter your comfort zone altogether. As uncomfortable as it is, it's meant for your growth, and growth is uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. But the end result of that growth is so incredibly rewarding. So just keep your eyes at the end of the tunnel, because there is an end to whatever tunnel you're in. I touched on this a little bit already, but traveling is crucial. It brings lessons that cannot come forward if you're standing still. The world has so much to offer, and not to sound like a hippie, but the school of life, as I like to call it, I think is just the most important system we can learn from. The best is our own waking world. Not to discount any of you who are in school or anything like that, but I truly believe that there are certain things that cannot be taught in a classroom. And all of the times that I've been traveling, again, it's out of your comfort zone, right? It's out of your normal day-to-day, and there are certain skills like problem solving and adapting to different environments and cultures. Those skills can quite literally only come from travel. So I highly recommend any of you who have not traveled or have never done that, travel. It's not only fun, but I feel like it really makes you grow as a person. It teaches you so much. Listen to your body. It keeps the score. Have you ever been unsure about a person or a place? Like, you'll hang out with somebody and then afterwards you have like a blaring headache. You go on a date with a guy and then your stomach hurts afterwards. Yeah, that's your body telling you that that's a no-go. For the most part, okay? I mean, I don't mean like if you go to dinner and eat bad shellfish and then you have a stomach ache. That's not what I mean. You can tell after you're with somebody where your energy is at, right? Are you feeling energetic and full and happy once you're with certain people or at a certain place? Or are you feeling depleted, anxious, exhausted? Your body keeps the score. Listen to your body. We carry more than one lifetime within us. I am a mere product of everyone in my bloodline who came before me. This was a lesson I learned pretty recently. All of the women in my lineage have suffered the same issues, and it gets passed down through generation after generation. I am a firm believer in generational trauma, and I am also a firm believer that it is our job to break certain cycles and for the trauma to stop with me. You know, all of the bullshit that the women before me have carried and my ancestors have carried, it ends with me. And that is honestly such a specific, rewarding endeavor that is so specific to each person. But I really recommend listening to the people in your family that are older than you, your ancestors, if they're still here on earth with you, or even if they're passed on, perhaps communicating with them in the way that suits you the best. But really listen to their life and listen to how it mirrors your own, and then go from there. It will surprise you. Number 22, being called weird is a huge compliment. Yes, I'm an Aquarius. Yes, I love being called weird. If someone calls you weird, that is the best thing ever. That means you are so individual. That means that you are so unapologetically you. And oh my gosh, what a compliment. Number 23, consumerism will never fill that void, nor will it carve out your identity. Okay, I am a recovering shopaholic, and I say that with my whole chest as someone who has multiple shopping hauls on this channel. But I used to be a lot worse. I enjoy shopping. There's nothing wrong with shopping and getting fun new things that feed your interests. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that in moderation. But I think with anything, right, you can use it as a form of escape. And especially when I was like 18, 19, I had a pretty terrible shopping addiction, like online shopping to be specific, because I didn't know who I was and I was grasping at so many straws, and oh, if I buy this, then I'll be this person, and if I do this, then I'll be this person. And it's like, all of that is just capitalism, babes. Listen to me. It's just capitalism. It's not you. You are not the clothes you wear, or the decorations in your house, or the car you drive, or the money in your wallet. You are not any of that. If you want peace and you want true happiness, you must detach, let go, detach from your material belongings. If you learn that lesson now, you will thank me later, and so will your wallet. Envy and gratitude cannot coexist. There is a huge difference between seeing somebody with a life that you want and being like, damn, that is so amazing. I really want that. How do I do that? And looking at someone with a life that you want and going, they shouldn't have that, I should. And I think that's the difference between being inspired and being envious. If you are envious, you cannot have gratitude. Those things are contradictory. They can't exist in the same space. And number 25, the last lesson I've learned over the past 25 years. I am not my flesh. I am my spirit. I am not my ego. I am my soul. And that is all of the lessons I have learned over the past 25 years. I know some of them were kind of redundant, but I found them to be very important. And if you learned something new, please let me know in the comments below. Happy Aquarius season. I'm so happy to have made it to 25, and I feel like 25 is gonna be one of my best years. I hope. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this little bonus video, and I will see you the next time. All right, bye.